Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the brand new channel. I'll be bringing you other news weekly here on this channel every Monday 6 p.m. as you're used to. This week there's a bunch of stories to cover. Well, obviously there was no announcement yet, so the big thing we're all waiting for here, another trip, a second trip, more experiences, more concurrent users. We're still waiting for that. But while we wait, there's a bunch of stories I dug up that I want to share with you. So how about I full screen this and we get right into it. So the first one, the biggest one, is an exciting one. And you probably heard about it. I mean, let's be real. If you're following this project closely and if you're on Twitter at all, you probably heard about this. If you haven't, well, let's just listen in. Let's just listen in together. So there's two parts here. First one, second one, it comes from a speech by Greg Solano, the co-founder of the Bored Ape Yacht Club, and he actually gives us some concrete details on the release schedule of Otherside. Yet again, now even more specific. Let's listen in.
So we've seen some tests of Otherside. Walk us through, maybe the timeline as best as you can. When are we going to see more tests? And ultimately, when do you imagine Otherside, being open to the masses?
Yeah, so we did our first trip in July, and we had around just under, I think, 5,000 concurrent users in one space. Our technology partner Improbable is incredible, and they enable a level of density of interactions and people together that is like unlike anything else that we'd ever experienced in any kind of video game. That was always a really important part to our vision for Otherside 2, was it's not just like, hey, here's a Web 2 world experience game and we're slapping blockchain on it and there you go. It's like, no, this has to be something new and strange and unlike anything else that's out there.
Okay, so that is the generic part, right? That was the first half of it where he just described his vision as we talked about many times on this channel. But here he's about to drop some concrete information that is very spicy.
And it was cool. We had like 5,000 people falling out of tunnel into a strange space at the very beginning. And yeah, I think somebody was saying it's raining nerds. And it was a great moment. And we want each of our trips to be building on the previous. So for the next trip, you can expect more environments, different characters, and new game mechanics. And that's why we didn't, rush out with one immediately after the first.
Well, okay, so let's dissect this a little bit. So a lot to unpack in the last two sentences here, right? Okay, so new characters. Obviously, Wagmi-san is going to be there now as the acquired 10 KTF, and he got sucked out of New Tokyo. So that's going to be a new character for sure. I expect more Kodas, right? And?
Different characters and new game mechanics. And that's why we did
new game mechanics. So that's a big one because all we really received, when you think about it critically, is a basic experience with proximity voice chat and 4,600 players, right? That's not basic at all. But game mechanic wise, it was pretty much you could walk around, you could jump, you could use the launch pads, and you could launch yourself at the boss, but there was no real health bar. It was just kind of this thing where you enjoyed the event that was laid out for you. I would say that is kind of the shallowest level in terms of game mechanics that you can achieve. So if they're saying new game mechanics, they're going to go a little deeper, which I'm very excited about, because if you introduce, let's say, a quest that you can accept from a character, I think that already would be huge at the level of thousands of players concurrently. Okay, so that's the second fact. What else did he say?
And rush out with one immediately after the first is because we want this next trip to be a milestone that makes it easier to then turn it on much, much more frequently. And so we go from, every couple months to like what we just had with first trip to we could do it, a couple times a month or even more than that. And with the eventual goal of in Q3 of next year, having the always on persistent.
Let's go. I mean, what am I supposed to say? That is just perfect. Okay, so two main things of alpha in there, right? First of all, multiple events a month possible, right? Which, honestly, once they made it happen once, it should be that hard to open it up. So I'm super glad that they're kind of arriving at the point that I was hoping for back in like July. I thought like from August on, it would just keep opening up regularly, but turns out that I have to kind of, I start a new show called OtherNews Weekly, and then for like 12 weeks they don't announce anything. So I don't know, that's just good luck on my part. But at the end of the day, I'm super excited about the fact that they said that there's going to be multiple events in a month, and the big punchline here, platform coming live Q3 2023. So as we know, Yuga, by now, it's probably going to be 29th September 2023. That's my guess. Because let's be real, let's just recap quickly here. It's mid-December, and in Q4 we're supposed to have the next trip, and there's still no announcement. I mean, what are they gonna do it on like the 29th? I guess. But either way, this is some amazing news, big news, and with that, I want to move on to the next part here that I want to point out, and that is the last part from this talk. You can find the link in the description below, as per usual. I'll post it in. But on YouTube, you could also just search for this. I just thought the next few seconds are also very interesting, so listen in here.
But what we can do is try to make as inclusive and fun a place as possible.
Otherside.
And have, even if there's things like, a true scarcity of land ownership, there's other ways of people to enter into the ecosystem as it comes online. But holding another deed can be a place where you just get more entitlements, that you have more access to prototypes, beta testing, all these kinds of things. But we're not capping the amount of people that get enter into the full experience once it's launched.
So I think that's so key to say. That's so key to say out loud, because the whole thing hinges on the fact that they're going to be delivering an experience that is popular and accessible to anybody, like that is interesting. That is the word. That is interesting to anybody, right? They're creating the universe with the holders, the value accrual and the building goes to the holders, sure. But at the end of the day, the experience and the game they're building on top of it and the whole platform, that should be open to everybody. And he confirms that now. So what that means in practical terms is that, yes, all of us holders of Other Deeds, we will get the early access. It's kind of the alpha pass. We will have exclusive benefits, etc. But at the end of the day, the platform, once it's live, once you build your clubhouse, let's say, you're going to be able to send out that link to anybody, no matter if they're NFT or crypto native or not. Doesn't matter. So I thought that was huge. Wanted to underline that fact here. And next up, let's talk about the technical capabilities of the Otherside, because we got a little bit of an update on Twitter too. And again, it's been a while since we reviewed some of Herman Narula's tweets, but he added some information here that I thought was super relevant. So let's read through this, and then I'll round out with 2 quick stories, and we are done for this week. Okay, so we get some like technical updates and a timeline, which is pretty cool. So what he's saying here is, I've been silent on tweets and yet desperate to leak things. It's been tough. Amazing progress on M2 Tech. This is their metaverse technology that allows for the high concurrent user numbers, particularly tools for creators that I'm hoping we are allowed to share before the end of the year. And this is connecting the dots. Do you remember when I believe 4 weeks ago, Susan, the CEO of Yuga Labs, came on and said the Otherside development kit would be coming soon here? And that's what I figured. The whole business model is like, as I'm saying, it's like a Web3 3D YouTube type of play. Otherside, right? It's a platform, and a platform is only as good as the creators. So how do you make that thing successful? Well, you give the tools to create on the platform to the creators. That would be a good step. Otherwise, they can't create anything. Otherwise, the whole creator economy can't even exist on there. So if you create a priority list, obviously that is at the top of your priorities. So that theory of mine lines up with Susan's statement and what Herman said on Twitter here. So it might even be that we're getting a ODK in December here. Speculation, of course. But look at that. It's been tough. Creator tools, share before end of the year. Like, I think this goes beyond speculation actually at this point. I hope we get it, because the whole thing, the platform will only be as good as the things built on top of it. All right, so these two tweets here are relevant too. Just quickly gonna glaze over these. Strategy is very web centric, right? So you don't need a particular like downloaded executable, which is great, very user friendly. So you will do a lot of building of objects and behaviors using familiar web technologies and languages. This they specified already, right? It's gonna be JavaScript and Unreal Engine. And you can still go down to the engine level and do more custom stuff. That's fantastic, but there's gonna be an easy to use kit. Cool. So there's an important factor in this, and that's the engine, right? Okay, so as you know, the whole thing will be built in Unreal Engine, which is a part of the reason why it looks so good. The thing is, there's a new version out, as we discussed before, with Unreal 5, and a lot of people were like discussing the fact that, okay, so they started building back in Unreal 4, but is it going to be compatible with Unreal 5? And I mean, it's not that easy to port everything over. It's not just like a one-click thing. So will the other side adapt to this? Because they have a lot of this revolutionary tech that was created a few years back, and is it compatible with the new stuff? It wasn't clear, right? But luckily, the co-founder of Improbable put out this tweet, which actually lifted kind of a weight off my shoulders. And he said, yep, Unreal 5 is already working in test builds. So their M2 tech is compatible with this, and they'll be providing it. So that's amazing to hear. It has some cool features compared to Unreal 4, but generally it's fully backward compatible. So it's been easy enough to port over. And yes, everybody knew this. That's generally the case. It's just they're doing something so different here that yeah, it wasn't clear. You know, it could have easily been that from a technical standpoint, the high transactions per second wouldn't have transitioned over to the new engine model. So this is fantastic news. What that means in practice is that a lot of these new games that are building will already have assets that are ready to go in the same game engine Otherside uses. So it's going to be not just interoperable, it's also going to be built on standards that are popular and widely used. So I think that's incredible stuff. And I want to point you towards one more thing before we leave here. Actually, it's two things. It's kind of one is this story that I just want to touch on for like 10 seconds. And it's the fact that one of the main competitors of Yuga Labs here, which would have been Microsoft, that tried to buy Activision Blizzard with all their games and for the metaverse played, it actually got blocked. The deal got blocked. So it's funny to see that some of these big players like Meta trying to make their play with their Libra cryptocurrency, and Microsoft trying to buy all the intellectual property that goes along with World of Warcraft and all the other Blizzard games that are, you know, metaverse-like, got blocked. So that's good for Yuga. Let's just say that. I think this is like short and midterm, definitely good for Yuga. That happened, and last but not least, I want to bring to your attention the fact that we have a second episode of the Yuga Labs podcast. Where is that thing? The Metaverse. Actually, what the hell? New channel. I don't care about monetization and stuff on here. It's the fucking Metaverse. There you go. I said it. The fucking Metaverse. We can swear on here. This is what the hell? We don't have to keep this PG friendly. The average audience of this crypto content was somewhere around like 35. So hey man, we're all grown-ups here. So the podcast is the second episode. Very worth watching. Fuck yeah, Cleaver. Let's go. No, it actually feels way more authentic to just to myself. Either way, watch it. Larva Labs, CryptoPunks founders. There's no Otherside news alpha or like Otherside alpha in there, but it's definitely worth watching, especially this conversation. I haven't listened to the whole thing yet, but I can't wait actually, because I just want to hear the founders of the two most prominent and yeah, maybe even important NFT projects, the two biggest NFT projects. That's definitely the right word. Chat to each other. So this is a very exciting piece of content. Absolutely crazy week. That has been it for this week's Other News. I'll see you next week at 6 p.m. I've been saying this since 4 weeks, but with hopefully some good news connected to the Otherside release, because this is getting out of hand, ladies and gentlemen. Really, just come on, just put that tweet out. Give us that fuck it tweet. Next trip on Monday. Come on, I'm ready for it. I know you guys are. Thank you so much for joining this week's stream, and I'll see you next week. Cool. So that's it. I'll hang out for a little bit more, but essentially we're gonna just keep doing this. I follow it every day. I'm in my NFT communities every day, and it's the project I'm most excited about. So we're going to keep covering it on a weekly basis. So I ain't going nowhere. Don't worry. It's just crazy to see what happened on the other channel. It literally blew up. Yeah. This Wember Q5, we are live. Yeah, just yeah, they should just tweet like Q5 to be realistic. I don't know, man. I don't know, man. At this, I've been excited for it for so long that now it's kind of more like, just tweet already, you know? Do you think we need to pick a side for the next 100k deeds? aka, do you think we will need to burn a current deed to get a new one? So yes, that's the theory that I originally came up with a few months ago, that I promoted here, right? And I still think it's a plausible theory. I think that could very well be the case. But, and I haven't seen any evidence to disprove that theory. Okay, do you think we will need to burn a current deed to get a new one? It would make so much sense in terms of like supply manipulation, but at the end of the day, I'm not sure what their like 12-month roadmap is. So depending on that, it might make sense to want a 200k supply or not. It really depends, but they have the power. Just realize they have the power. They do not have to go along and be like, okay, next 100k deeds coming out. They can make this choice. Limit the supply. I personally think it's gonna be a while till we get the next 100k deeds. They're gonna try and use them as like a carrot for a rabbit, to make us participate in the events, right? Because the whole thing, the point of the whole exercise is breaking records here, right? Improbable got involved with them because they have valuable IP in the community to actually get these playtests going that have more than a few thousand players, right? I believe the number is 10,000 that they have to break. If they break 10,000, that's a world record. So they're gonna do everything in their power to actually get to that number. And one of the main aces they have up their sleeve is the next 100k deeds. That's what I think. Well, no, that's a fact. But they definitely have to attract as many users as possible. One of the best ways to do that is monetary incentive. AKA, you get a free NFT if you participate in these free things, let's say, for example. And then they do events. And then Improbable gets their testing, Yuga gets their headlines and their deliverables in terms of, wow, we delivered incredible events with record-breaking numbers. Improbable gets to, well, prove that they are able to do this, because with their past projects, they failed multiple times, which is fine with tech like this, but they really want to prove that they are able to deliver a product that goes beyond what's out there these days. And everybody would win, and the holders would win, because it would make headlines worldwide. So I think at the end of the day, the goal is to break 10,000 concurrent users to set a world record, and they're going to use the next 100k deeds to motivate them. So yeah, that's what I think. And I think they're gonna base their strategy around burning or not, and all that around it. Hard to say anything more concrete. What are your thoughts on the blue and red codas in the recent trailer? Will you have to make a choice to go to the other side with your coda? Are they codas from different tribe? What the fuck is a coda? Someone really, my man, Thor's hammer. You really want to know what a coda is, huh? I do too, trust me. I do too. At the end of the day, I think there's going to be two tribes. One of them are going to live on the blue side. One of them are going to live on the red side. They're both going to serve an essential function in the game and in the ecosystem. I don't think that they will be essential for the usage of the platform aspect. So if you want to like build your clubhouse and then host events in there, I don't think the coda is going to be critical for that, but that's just my theory. I think it's going to be really important in the game they're building, and I think it's gonna be really important in the lore behind the game. That's what I think. But they're definitely gonna be powerful, and they're gonna have some like extra abilities. So if I were to design the whole thing, first of all, you split the codas, right? And then with the codas, you would obviously be able to play them. Obviously, but this is just pure speculation here, right? So we're clear. And then once you play them, you would get access to certain abilities and certain perks within the world that you could not access through just holding a deed. That's what I think. So it's gonna be kind of like a VIP pass to the platform, having a coda. like a super VIP pass. The other deed is the VIP pass, right? As they just stated in the interview that I linked. Dope. Any more questions? Cool, I'm glad we get to do this. This week was so stressful, honestly. Honestly, the caption of the other deed states that other deeds are the key to claiming land in the other side. Okay, let me read that again. States that other deeds are the key to claiming land. This shows that the deed we hold now won't be the same as the others. Oh, yes, 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 yes. Yes, because they're called other deeds, right? It's just a deed to the piece of land, right? So this will allow us to actually claim our piece of land in there. That's very true. That's very true. Won't be the same as the other ones. I don't know what exactly you mean by the other ones. EA achieve greatness. Because I think there's going to be like a double-sided thing where what we see now is one side and then the flip side is going to be maybe the red side. And that's what the game is going to revolve around. In my opinion, the other deed now and the lands are in the game. The next 100 case land we build on. Yeah. I just can't wait for the building aspect. Like, that's the whole value prop here, right? It's like, okay, you're going to get a user-friendly ODK, like SDK with their custom naming, right? You're going to get to build your own stuff. You're going to get to own it. We're going to host it. It's going to be decentralized. You're actually going to own that stuff. And then we're going to build example events and games on top. But you get to do that too. And then other worlds get to plug into that. And you're going to, and all that with like record-breaking numbers and tech, right? That's the value prop. It's like more people than you have ever seen, fully customizable. You can build your own stuff, you can own your own stuff, and you can monetize your own experiences and games. All in one packaged within their universe. I think it's such a cool idea. I really love it. It's just I need that second trip. I need it now. Just stream the whole thing, obviously. Cool. I'm glad some of you guys found your way to the new channel. I know it's a little rough to transition. Not great. It's been 13 months of regular posting on that old channel, but not much. Honestly, there's not much of a choice. If I wanna, like, there's not much of a choice. If the numbers were like, I don't know, if I got like twice as many views on like the AI videos, like, all right, maybe we could keep it together and try it out, but it's like 40 times more, right? Or like 100 times more almost. So I had to split it up. The problem is like all of the people here, including me, we are really like tech interested, right? Most of us, I'll just assume. Like, how can you be into Web3 in December 2022 and not be tech interested? Like, all this stuff is cool to us, like AI, blockchain, and like metaverses and Yuga Labs doing crazy things. Like, it's wonderful. But the people that are attracted to the AI content, just to explain that, they don't really care about Web3. It's like the people that are attracted to the AI content are, I could like walk up to a random person on the street and be like, hey, check out this like video on this new AI. And they were like, wow, interesting. Do the same thing with like, oh, check out my video on how to stake your how to stake your ape coin from contract. And they would think I'm crazy. Like 100 out of 100 people that you meet on the street, right? So that's the problem. But then the person that cares about like ape coin staking from contract does care about AI too. So I figured it would be easier to do it this way than the other way around, just to migrate the people that care about Otherside over here. So that's the explanation behind that. I've been getting the question a few times. Yeah, I think it really makes sense. And it's going to allow me to fully focus on making videos. And I've been struggling so much to like create enough content around like metaverses because like nothing is live yet. So yeah, I hope that gives a little bit of insight into my decision over the last week to migrate this. I know it's not ideal. I wish we could have clicked the button and just transferred all the subscribers and viewers and everything. It doesn't work that way. Either way, we'll be covering the news, we'll be covering Otherside, we'll be covering metaverse stories on here. And meanwhile, we'll be creating the AI content, some incredible content. If you're not using that thing on a daily basis, you're missing out big time, by the way. Like seriously, like almost every job that I talk to, every person that I talked to over the past week, everybody can find a way to integrate it into like the everyday life and make it better. And now you still have an edge, right? Because it's only out for like a week, let's say, something like that. Now you still have an edge. Not everybody's using it yet, so use that edge. That would be my alpha for this week. Really, like the chat GPT stuff is just insane. Yeah. Either way, so I believe that's all I got. If there's no more questions, I'll round this out. And thank you so much for joining, guys. I appreciate it. All of you people like checking out the live streams. You are a blessing. You are the real ones, and love to see you in the Discord. And I just can't wait for more stuff to come out here, man. This can be the smaller room for the OGs and hopefully some new people to come and swear and share. Yes. Yes, I love that. And also I was thinking, let me know if anybody would have a problem with it. But in the Discord, what if I, like, because I cut off the YouTube OG role at 1,500 subscribers, like 2 or 3 weeks ago. But what if I gave the YouTube OG role to everybody that was with the channel, like, a week ago or longer ago, you know, in the Discord. So everybody essentially that came for the Web3 content only. I think that'd be really cool. We have like this pool of people that kind of like is really into this Web3 Otherside topic. Anyway, yes, more content. That's for sure. That's for sure. All right. I hope there's gonna be more to cover next week. Thank you guys for joining. Much love. Yeah, exciting times. I need to get some sleep, and good to have you guys here. Have a wonderful Monday, and I hope to see you on the other side. Seriously, it's gonna happen. You heard him. Multiple events a month. Platform in Q3 2023. I'll see you there. No, next Monday I'll see you, and I'll see you there too.